Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm an alcoholic. Blessed to be here. I just told Roxy, no, I'm not doing this. Why is I hugging? I'm sober. My date is 2001, February 7th, 2001. A home group where you meet in Davidson, 7:15 every morning. And it's a great meeting, Monday through Friday. Please come and visit. Anytime you're in the neighborhood, we'd love to have you. It's a great group. I have a sponsor, and everybody I know that is related to me lineage-wise has a sponsor. It goes and goes, and I don't know when it stops. Very blessed in that way. Roxy, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be up here. I think it is a privilege. And Roxy and I go back a ways. You know, we've laughed our heads off together, and we've cried our heads off together. We've been through a lot together, and very blessed to have this young lady in my life. She's very special to me, and I thank you for the invite. It's funny, when I used to do this, when I first got sober, I'd like make a card, or I'd have cards, and I'd just maybe write one word on it. And I would look at that word, and I'd try to remember what I meant. But I pick out words like gratitude, or serenity, or powerlessness. And then I look down, I'm like, what did I want to say about that? And later on in life, I decided that I'm not going to try to rehearse this thing. I'm not going to try to say the right thing that people might want to hear. I'm just going to talk from my heart, and it's just going to flow. And that's one of the gifts of the program. You'll hear me talk a lot about the gifts of the program, and that's one of the biggest ones I got. You know, not trying to be what other people wanted me to be. You know, I over time. When I first came in, I'd be a Democrat in one room and a Republican in the other. And now I know I'm independent. But I was always doing what I thought I would judge myself and how good I was based on how you thought I was. And that's no longer the case. Little by little, as I went through those steps, I became who I am today. And when I first came in, I didn't want anything to do with that guy in the mirror. I mean, it scared me to even look in the mirror. And today, I'm very happy with that guy in the mirror. I've learned through you guys, through you people like you, I've learned to love that person in the mirror. And that's a big accomplishment for this guy. Because when I came in, I was really, really broken. Really broken, and you guys helped put me back together. I grew up in a kind of an affluent area on Long Island. If any Long Islanders here, town was Garden City, and it's just known to be a little affluent, if you will. And so I'm here to tell you that money is not something that's going to get you sober. I can tell you that from experience. My mom had this disease, and I have two sisters. They have this disease. It doesn't discriminate, what color you are, or how rich you are, or whatever. It is what it is. I had my first drink. I guess I was around 12, and we used to go into our parents' cabinets, and we'd take a little scotch and a little vodka and a little gin. We'd put it together in this bottle, and then we'd go and chug it, and we'd go to a dance. I remember the CYO dance, and I would walk home because I was so drunk. I mean, I don't know how I did this, but I'd walk home, and then my parents were in the living room, and I'd walk by them. I'd stumble by them and walk up the stairs, and no word was ever mentioned, ever. They just didn't. They didn't want to call me on it because then they'd have to, I guess, look at themselves. But I remember the sound of the hose on the side of the house right next to me, right where outside my window, and that was my dad clearing off what I had puked out the window from the house. And then, nothing. It was like the elephant in the living room. No one ever spoke about it again until it happened again and again and again and again. But to me, that was normal. I mean, I grew up, that's what my parents did. I don't remember a single Friday or Saturday night that my parents weren't home. They were nicknamed Good Time Charlie and Manhattan Millie. And they were they were out every single Friday or Saturday night. And that's what I thought was normal. That's what I thought everybody did. So when I got married, it was on. So I partied a lot. I was a big soccer nut. Played a lot of soccer. Soccer grounded me a little bit. So I did pretty good in soccer. I played D1 college, and I didn't take it seriously though. So I'd party right before a game or things like that. And I had these bunch of guys that I lived with, and they were not jocks. They were, we would party a lot, and so my story definitely has some other things involved with it, but alcohol is no doubt my issue. But after partying, I'd every day at 2 o'clock, I'd say, I got to go. And they'd say, where do you go at 2 o'clock? And I said, I'm on the soccer team. You're on the what? I said, yeah, I play soccer. Do you start? Yeah, I play soccer. I love it. And so these guys really didn't believe me. I said, come to a game. So one Friday night, they decided to go to a Saturday game, and one Friday, it was the Friday night before I was way out there. Drank a lot. And what I used to do is I'd take 5 no-dos and I put them on my alarm clock. And as soon as the alarm clock went off, I'd take the no-dos and then I'd jump in the shower and then I'd go to the field house. And this particular day, I did my routine, and I knew I was really hurting. But I got to the field house, got dressed, went out the field. We were playing NYU, and I took the ball, and we were playing the game. I took the ball off my chest, and I had a breakaway. It was me and the keeper, and the keeper was like at the back of the room. So I'm going, he's going, and all of a sudden I stopped, and I literally barfed on the ball. And the ref stopped the game. He didn't know what to do. I'm dry heaving, and this ball is full of. So he just stopped the game, and I went over to the side, and the coach is like, "What's the matter?" I said, "I think I ate too soon before the game." And I looked up in the stands, and those guys are rolling. Those guys are like, "Yeah, sure, you play soccer," but I love soccer, and I always say that when I got onto a soccer field, I always felt at peace. And I felt the exact same peace when I came into these rooms. You guys, that was another gift I got, was, not feeling judged, not feeling like, you guys accepted me the way I was. And that was the first time that had happened in my life. I never, ever thought that people would be as kind and open and loving as the people in these rooms were to me. And so, when Roxy asks me to speak, it's about giving back. It's about, sharing that gift and with other people that have gone through it. It's a beautiful thing, the way we give. I never got by giving. I always got by getting, And then through this program, little by little, I learned that, what a gift it is to give, and not expect anything back. Somebody did something to me, and man, it went down in the books. It's, you're going to get it back. Revenge, it was a big thing. And I would not let it go. And it would eat my lunch for a long time, that resentment, This big book tells us about that's the number one thing. And I could see it being the number one thing because there was a lot of bad stuff taking up a lot of good space in my brain when I had that resentment thing going on. And, so being able to let that go, as the third step has enabled me to do, is hand that off. What a gift. I don't have to carry that stuff around anymore. What a gift. After college, I met this wonderful woman named Aggie, and Aggie and I, we fell in love. And when that happened, things changed a little bit. You know, like I was in school. I mean, I was at that school I played soccer in, and I eventually got kicked out because of my grades. And then I met this woman. I went back to school. Between that time, my dad, who had done very well in his life, had rewarded my bad behavior with giving me a very, very lucrative job as an over-the-counter salesman for a pharmaceutical company. I was making good money at that time. I think it was $11,500, and that was a lot. That was a lot back then. And I had a company car, and I was doing really well. I was still partying my butt off, and but then, like I started talking to you about, I met Aggie, and my priorities changed. All of a sudden, that love that I had for her started me thinking that, I'm going to start going a little bit differently here. Went back to school and got straight A's. I mean, straight A's. So I ended up with a B average. So when you average out what I had and what I did, just right in the middle there. And it was good. We had a beautiful life. And I really think that I crossed that line we talked about some time before I met her. And when I met her, the line was right there. The more I drank, the further that line got, and the further away I got from it, and the thinner it got. But we lived in a beautiful home on Long Island, and had 4 wonderful kids, beautiful kids. Kerry, Kimmy, Kelly, and Kevin. Stupidest thing I ever did in my life. When they're all in the same room, it just never comes out right. But and to make it matters worse, my sister's names are Karen and Kathy. I'm Kevin. So enough with the K's, but in any event, very blessed. Those 4 children have blessed me with 7 grandkids, and another gift that you guys have given me is being present with them. When I made my amends to my oldest girl, I'll never forget it. A lot of tears, and she said, "Dad, I don't know if I can forgive you." And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget those words, because it really went to my bone. It was like, wow, I really must have, and I knew I did. I knew I screwed things up. But let me tell you something. 3 years later, I walked that young lady down the aisle. And I did that because of the living amends that you guys have taught me how to do. Doing the next right thing, day after day after day, being there, being present. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. After 20 years of marriage with this young lady, it got to the point where she fell out of love with me. And at the time I was very resentful and very mad and very, how could you fall out of love with me, And to be honest with you, and later on we talked about it, and I said, "Was it my drinking?" And she said, "No." And it wasn't my alcohol drinking; it was my alcoholic behavior that really did it. See, this drinking that we do is but a symptom of our disease, and my disease was really selfishness. I played a lot of sports. I played soccer, 2 leagues, softball, 2 leagues, tennis, 2 leagues. I mean, I wasn't there. I wasn't present for the family, and I don't blame Aggie for falling out of love with me. I have to own that, and I do. And I do that because of you. Because I'm telling you, I definitely was, she didn't want to go to counseling. It's all her fault. Everything. She didn't want to try. I mean, all her fault, all her fault, all her fault. When what I had was also a really good job that I lost. So I lost my job, I lost my family. In my mind, I lost my family. And then I got a DWI. And I'm here to tell you that I can make an excuse for losing the family because it was my wife's fault. I could make an excuse for losing my job because it was my boss's fault. But when I got the DWI, there was no one else. I mean, I couldn't blame anybody else. And that's when I started hitting bottom. And that was like a turning point for me. I mean, I had drank a lot. I had, partied a lot. I had just been in a lot of bad places and done a lot of bad things. And, I just thought, well, if I lost my job and I lost my family and I got a DWI, I'm just getting some bad luck. I got some bad luck. And it's funny because the guys I hung with had the same kind of bad luck. We had that in common. Go figure. So I mean, we used to do things like call each other and say, hey, there's a checkpoint at this place. There's a checkpoint over here. There's avoid this street. Go that way. The stuff we put ourselves through. I'll never forget, there was this place I used to go to get Chinese food. And I'd take the order in my hand, and my wife would say, well, just phone it in. They'll have it ready for when you get it. I'll just bring it. They had a bar there, too. And I'd just give them the list, and then I'd start pounding them. And then, and after I got sober, I think I was sober for like a month, and I went to that place, and I picked up the order, and I was driving, and I took a turn on a yellow light. Cop said it was red, but it was yellow. He pulled me over, and I remember the feeling of being pulled over and being sober and being like, he came to the window, I was smiling. It was like, what's with you? I'm like, you have no idea. I thought the anxiety I had when I happened to see lights in the back there or a cop that I had passed, and I was drinking. I drank a lot when I drove. How sick is that? I mean, how many people could I have killed? Killed myself. I mean, it's hard, and I justified all my behavior. Everything I did was somebody else's fault, and that's another gift. I've learned to take ownership, I'm okay with saying, if I'm screwed up, I'm going to tell you I screwed up, I'm sorry. Make my amends, and, if you accept it, that's great. If not, I'm okay. I'm going to clean up my side of the street, though. You guys taught me to do the next right thing. And that's what I tried to do. I kept doing the next right thing, the next right thing, the next right thing. And eventually what happened is I was building a new past. The things that had gotten me to drink started becoming things of the past. My priorities in life changed. All of a sudden, and I got into things like yoga. I teach yoga, guys. And I got it to Reiki. And my old buddies that I used to hang out with are like, who are you and what have you done with Kevin? My priorities in life changed. Love has become a big part of my life. This is a tough New Yorker, talking about love up here in front of a bunch of people. I'm okay with that. I cry. I'm okay with crying. I'm okay with tears coming out of these eyes. They might come tonight, they may not, who knows. But there's a lot of good things that have happened in my life since I've gotten sober. And I've been able to deal with a lot of tough stuff, which has made me stronger. And since I've been sober. people have died. My dad died. My mom died. And being there for my sisters in a different way, you know. And walking my kids, I have 3 girls and 1 boy, and I walked those 3 girls down the aisle. And they wanted their mother on the other side. And my buddies are like, wait a minute, who's paying for this? And I mean, all this other stuff. And I'm like, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about them. If that's what they want, then to make them happy, then I'm okay with it. And stop trying to put crap in my head, because it ain't going to work. So, yeah, all 3. My oldest one's the only one that I walked down by myself, and I didn't know that till 2 minutes before we started walking down, and I would be fine with Aggie being on the other side. Aggie was a very, very special woman. She was the middle of our family. Everything went through Aggie. She talked to the kids every day. I talked to them maybe, I don't know, once a week, twice a week, you know. But they relied on her heavily. We got very close, close friends in my mind, anyway. And of course, I would love to have gotten back to her romantically as well, but I think that ship had sailed, and there was no. It just wasn't something. But we did things like visited the kids together. We flew together. We drove together. We did a lot of things together, you know. So, and that's another gift. Like, you guys allowed me to put the bitterness aside and be able to just see love the way love is supposed to be seen and get a lot of that crap out of the way. What a gift. What a gift. What a gift to my children to be, you know, to have both parents, you know, and be perfectly fine with being next to each other in the same room and respecting each other and just being there for each other. You guys gave me that. Because before I got sober, before I went those steps, and before I justified all the things I did and a lot of, you know, not a lot of nice stuff, you know, that I'm proud about, you know. But was able to make my amends to her too. And after I made my amends, I was able to let it go, for the most part. It would creep up from time to time, but you guys gave me the tools that when that shows up, I know what to do. I know how to do it. And I have people in my life that I can call. And I have just friends that are there for me all the time. And I'd be there for them anytime. That's just the way we roll. You know, I've got a group of guys that I camp with 4 or 5 times a year. And you know, when you talk about camping, you think of the guys eating baked beans out of a can. We had a gourmet chef, Smiling Jim, and Jim. I mean, we ate like kings. I ate better than any restaurant. I mean, it was beautiful, and we still get together. It's been probably 18 years for me. I think it's been 30 years for them. You know, and there's a lot of good things. There's a meeting we go to. It's called Veda Meekum. It's at Fort Mills or Fort something, off 40, Old Fort, and 280 men. 280 men. If you had told me I was going to be around 280 men on a mountain, I'd tell you you're crazy. You know, before I did this stuff, you know, 280 men, but. Relationships with men is another gift that you guys gave me. Being able to hug a man, you know, and not feel awkward, and just love. And the relationships that I have with men today are so much deeper than that which I've ever had. And that's because, you know, I love the men that I roll with, and we just do a lot of good things together. Very special group of men. And they're the ones who have taught me a lot of what this alcoholic knows. We've been through a lot together. When we get together, we catch up. There's a lot of stories where people are going through cancer with loved ones, or, you know, we're there for each other, always. And that's what it is. That's another gift of this program, is being there for the ones we love the most when they need us the most. You know, and when people showed up, you know, so fast forward a little bit or back, whatever. About 3 years ago, Aggie passed. It was very sad. And just watching what my kids went through was enough. I mean, I was taking on not only my own grief, but I was taking on theirs as well. And it just was overwhelming. But, man, all you guys showed up. Amazing how many people were there that were there to hold me up and be there so I can hold my kids up. It's something I'll never, ever be able to thank. And there's no words, there's a feeling that we feel, and there's no words that can match that feeling that I had of gratitude. Gratitude's another gift. I mean, I never, ever stopped in life to be grateful. I was pretty successful, and every time I got someplace, it was, okay, enjoy it for 2 minutes, but unless you keep looking for the next one, it's going to pass you by. And so I never, ever stopped and said and looked at what I had. Grateful for my family. I loved them, but being able to appreciate the things that the little things, the things that they do that are heartfelt. It was, I lived in a materialistic world. I measured success by what you had in the bank account, or what kind of car you were driving, or what kind of house you lived in. Wow. What a gift to see things differently. To just, I don't want to be around people that are negative. I just don't. I don't want to be brought down. I like positive, loving people. And that's the kind of people that I'm around. And that's to me what is valuable in life, I did okay in life, and if I wasn't, I hope that I would feel the same way. I think I would, because, like I said in the very beginning, it does not make you happy, buddy. It does not. So I got sober in 2001, and wow, I remember looking at those steps and saying, I'm going to add one or two of those things. This is how much ego this guy had. And I remember thinking, okay, this is 7th step, 8th step, and we're going to make an amends. Oh, I guess the 11th or 12th is when they come to me. That's the way my head worked, and thank God you guys were there for me and taught me. And so, as I went through the steps, each one, it was another opportunity to grow, And there's a quote in this book by Albert Spencer, and he talks about being open and how if you're not open to new things, how ignorant it could be. And I'll never forget that quote, and that feeling of being open to new things. I came into Alcoholics Anonymous and I was like, I'll tell you guys how to do this stuff. And I had to get humbled, and I had to get open, and I had to get willing to be taught. And today, I don't want to stop being taught, I want this alcoholic to continue to grow every day, and love and grace and all those things. I'll never, ever want that stuff to end. I've done, like I said, I got into yoga, expanded my spirituality a bit. Reiki, I did some there too, but I do things like I go on retreats and things, and I go to different places where I can meditate and do things like that. And meditation, prayer meditation is the 11th step it tells us about. I was like, my mind won't let me do that. I can't do that. You can. Everybody can. It's, I have the worst case, it's Roxy will tell you, ADHD. Maybe you notice by the way I'm talking. But ADHD, man, I ping, and But so when I meditate, that's what it was like, and I had to really get over that. I really did. And I practiced little at a time, and now meditation is a big part of who I am, my life. I meditate every day, and it really puts me at peace. It really does. It's a beautiful, beautiful tool that being open enabled me to, being open to things like that enabled me to be a part of. And meditation and yoga. Guys don't do yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, so yeah, we do. I'll tell you right now, we do it the least and need it the most. There's so many different benefits you get out of yoga, besides the obvious that I'm telling you right now. I wanted to do yoga for people like me 5 years ago. No way, no how. I wanted to reach the people. I wanted to reach me, who I was 5 years ago. And started trying to do that. I'm still going to try to do that, but I've had some injuries in the past couple of months that have kept me out of that. But we've come a long way through those 20. Well, it's 19 years for me. And like I said, my relationships with people have changed. I no longer have relationships based on taking advantage or manipulating or things like that. My relationships are love-based, basically. I want the best for people. But if you take advantage of me, I'm not a doormat. I'll let you know. I'll let you know, and I have. So you guys have enabled me to kind of understand where that line goes, and believe me, I was not one who liked conflict. I would avoid conflict. So if there was a situation where I should really speak up, I didn't. I just took it on the chin. Another gift you guys gave me is, I don't get stepped on that much anymore. It's called boundaries. You guys have taught me how to put boundaries up and keep them up and be my word, and be in my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to be someplace, I'm there. It might be a little late, but but I'm there. Because that's our word, and when I was drinking, I never, ever lived my word, and by living my word, my self-esteem has gotten better. I'm okay with that guy in the mirror I talked about before. I'm okay with him today, because he does, I do esteemable things, I'm there for the people, and they're there for me, and that's just the way it works, The group that I hang with, they're very special to me. Like I told you, I have a beautiful family now too. It's all the gifts. I have 7 grandkids. The newest addition came about 2-3 months ago. Hudson. We all went away together this summer. And Aggie wasn't there. So there was a little bit of, we wish she was there, but because she was there all the time. We used to do this every year. And it was wonderful. I mean, all the siblings get along, for the most part. There's a couple of things here and there, but you know what? We care more about each other than those things that get in our way. And I got something from my son the other day that I want to read to you guys before I close here. So, we never know how we're affecting other people that we have relationships with, or we don't. There's people. I have no problem telling somebody that I'm in Alcoholics Anonymous, and the word gets out, and I've gone to different people and helped them, and even people I don't know, because of the way you guys have taught me to be, open and honest and happy, I affect their lives as well. It's like that pebble that goes in and the waves that keep going back and back. We influence people all the time. All the time. So my son gave me this. I'll try to get through it. Ran into this on Facebook. Made me think of you in some parallels. Now, what it is a man holding up a sign. And the sign says, "It ran in the family until it ran into me." And then underneath that picture of that man holding that sign, it says, "I am a curse breaker. I am a warrior. I am a child of the Most High. The generational curse of alcoholism took my father and his before him, and so on. The curse stops with me. I'm going to be the man I needed when I was growing up." So Kev writes, ran into this on Facebook. Made me think of you in some parallels. You are the person that stopped and educated the Canavari family on the disease of alcoholism. So awesome. And I can't wait to teach my kids everything that I've learned from you. From your sisters to their kids, to your own kids, to your grandkids, etc. down the line. You have changed all lives for the better. It started with Kevin Charles. Part of why your chips are very special to me. And I always give my son one of my chips. He's always kept them, and I never knew that he didn't, it meant anything to him. But I just, as a habit, started doing it, and then he'd ask me about it, and a lot of stories about that. But we never know who we're affecting and how we're affecting, and what the word of Alcoholics Anonymous and this program has done for the folks that we relate to. Very blessed to be here. And with that, I'm done. Thank you.